What is the problem with passwords today? Well, when you are confronted with having to provide a password for a particular application, you typically are asked to enter your user ID, select a user ID, which typically is your Gmail or Hotmail or whatever that type of account is, and then to come up with a unique password. And there are some complexity rules that are put in there in order to make sure that your password does not exist on an English dictionary, which by the way has around 180,000 distinct words, because it's easy to play attacks against only that small number of passwords. So you are asked to generate something with those complexity rules. You are induced to come up with a unique password. So if you were trying to say, well, I'm going to put a unique PASN password, that's going to be my password, then the complexity rules, you will probably have to change it, the vowels for numbers, something like that, right? And you say, well, I'm done, so I'm good to go. So nobody's going to figure this out, because nevertheless, if there are 3 attempts to log in into the system, so people will not get it right. And there are other problems that I'm not going to address with. But let's say that is your assumption. Well, let me tell you what is not really the case. Due to the fact that there have been very many attacks being played, mostly SQL injection attacks that had allowed hackers to come up with passwords, user IDs and password combinations in systems. For example, you heard recently the LinkedIn, which was, even though it was hashed, was not hashed with a unique, the hash was not salted uniquely. So the fact of the matter is that hackers have to their disposal databases with more than 10 million user ID and password combination. 10 million. So what we were trying to solve with the 180,000 words in the English dictionary now got to 10 million available out there. And they have been able to actually figure all the tricks that people use, like changing, reversing putting a word and then reversing it and put it together. And people share those tricks, using the adjacent key in the keyboard, taking the first letters of a known song, popular song, things like that. And hackers also know that people reuse the same password more than once. So people do not have unique passwords for every application, because those are hard to remember, all these tricks and all this stuff. So I'm going to reuse the same password for multiple applications. So once a hacker knows about that, then it's fairly easy for them to actually go and even with or without additional social engineering, phishing, and all those things, go against your banking account, shopping sites, etc. And you thought that you have a unique password that protects you. Well, it is not the case. People correctly say, well, two-factor authentication will solve that problem. But the problem is that two factors are not pervasive these days. How many applications do you know that supports natively two-factor authentication in your enterprise? Probably very few of them. So the solution is really to go back and have something that can automatically generate 9 plus, at least 9, the more the better, truly random passwords for each application. So passwords are not reused. It's one unique per application, and that the user do not have to remember those, because of course those things are impossible to actually remember. So how can I have something that can work that way? So I'm going to describe right now, I'm going to show you briefly our enterprise single sign-on system that allows you to achieve those goals in a very quick way. This single sign-on solution, what allows you to do is allows you to log in into a system by just when you click on a particular application, it automatically very quickly injects your credentials for you. And then I'm going to simulate what the screen that happens when your password expires, and you'll see that an 8-character password, I'm actually going to force that by clicking here and change password, is going to replace an 8-character password for a truly random password. You see it there, it's much longer, and it's truly random, and it's going to be as strong as that application can actually take. So allows you to add second factor authentication without the application even knowing to know it. So this is just a badge with a sticker that has an RFID card, and when you tap on it, you unlock your workstation and your credentials are automatically inserted. With this ESSO solution, you can achieve this not only from the desktop that you have in the office, but also from any remote PC that doesn't have the agent that automatically remembers all those passwords and injects that for you, and we can demonstrate that how that works. But also it works with any iPad or iPhone, Android device, or even Windows 7, Windows, the new version of Windows for phones, for any automatically for anything that is browser-based applications, and also with some Citrix or terminal server type of interface for any GUI type of application. And so this allows you to get everybody to having to remember only one strong password. Typically the password, this one strong password, is the Active Directory password, the only one that they need to remember, and brings the whole enterprise in a more secure posture. It helps you also reduce calls to the help desk, so that saves some money to pay for the project, and increases the overall convenience. So how many times do you have solutions that are both convenient and more secure? Typically is the other way around. This solution can be deployed in a few weeks. If you want more detail, please contact your IBM representative for more demonstration. Also in this channel there are some TAMI SSO videos that you can watch as well.